Yo, what's going on YouTube? I am Germ here, and today we're going to be talking a lot about Rekkles, and we're going to be hitting on some other LEC stories and talking about a couple other players as well. But Rekkles has, of course, been a big story we've been following over the last couple of years because there's just always something going around with Rekkles. He cannot stay out of drama, the spotlight. He's been bouncing around from team to team a lot recently, and of course, most recently, he has decided to role swap to support, which has been very, very interesting and has left some people scratching their heads, some people wondering what the heck's going on, but some people, maybe excited for a new chapter in Rekkles' career and just kind of waiting and see how this is going to play out, whether or not he's going to make it back to the LEC, when he's going to make it back to the LEC, what team he's going to be playing for, and all of this stuff. Obviously, this has led to Fnatic needing to get a new support. They went out and got Trimby. This has left Koi, going with Advian. They did this little swap. There was some rumors of Rekkles potentially going to Koi, or Rekkles, maybe finding some team in the LEC, but these are the most recent LEC rosters, like rumored or completed, confirmed, whatever, by Wooloo. And we can see that the 10 supports in the LEC right now are going to be Mickey, Kaiser, Doss, Hylissang, Lebrov, Jonghoon, Mersa, Limit, Trimby, and Advian, obviously with a lack of Rekkles going on here. There are a couple other notable players that people have said they don't see in the LEC. Obviously, there is no Wonder anywhere on here, which people are like, dang, when is Wonder going to make it back to the LEC? Is he going to come back to the LEC? When are we going to see him? We'll have to wait and see. We don't know just yet. Nothing for him. But the other big name that is missing is Inspired. Inspired has really been one of the best junglers in the West for the past couple years. He's been an MVP in the LEC. He's been an MVP in the LCS. He's gone to Worlds with Rogue. He's gone to Worlds with EG. He's won a title. He's done lots of amazing things. And obviously, after getting kicked to the curb by EG because of budget reasons and all the weird stuff they have going on over at EG, it was said that Inspired was going to be considering offers in both the LEC and the LCS. Obviously, we don't see him in the LEC. Obviously, we haven't heard him confirmed for any LCS teams either, so what the heck's going on with him? Well, this guy replies and says Inspired info, and Wooloo says looks likely that he will not play next split, and that is a huge blow. That definitely sucks for the LEC because obviously he's very, very strong. Inspired is a great talent. Again, would be one of the best junglers in the LEC easily, even after not being in the league for a couple of years. And obviously he's one of the best players in the LCS, so it's kind of weird and crazy that no LCS teams were able to make room for him either. But we know the LCS is in just very, very dire straits as of late. They're kind of just been an absolute dumpster fire. We don't even know if the summer split is going to be starting on time. Who knows what the heck is going on over in the LCS? But obviously Inspired is good enough to be on one of those teams, but maybe the teams didn't want to pay up, or it's always hard to find a spot between spring and summer too, which makes it kind of extra catastrophic that EG did what they did between spring and summer. But it does suck to be wasting prime splits and prime seasons of Inspired. He is at that kind of peak age in esports where he should be having the best years of his career, not missing splits because of just disastrous economic conditions for teams and stuff. It really doesn't make sense. It's an absolute travesty for not only him but the scene as well. Obviously Inspired is going to be fine in the long run, but it does suck to miss out of a split of a really great player. But this gets us to what the heck is going on with Rekkles, and this, I saw a Reddit post on the Fnatic subreddit that says more insights on the Koi support change by LEC Wooloo. So during the offseason, Koi decided to let Trimby explore his options freely and looked at support options, which is kind of weird because we had the Koi fly guy, like the GM or whatever. Wooloo and Alejandro and all these guys were putting out different rumors, and the fly guy, I don't know, like I said, he just kind of rubs me the wrong way. Just kind of I think a weirdo, kind of a guy that just something's off about him. I don't know. He's got bad vibes. He's always, making fun of the leakers and saying, oh, blah, 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 this is BS, or, oh, apparently we're signing all these new players. Oh, even though it's not true, yada, yada, yada. It turns out it seems like a lot of it probably was true. Not very shockingly, of course. Alejandro and Wooloo have been amazing over the past couple of years. So Koi was deciding to move on from Trimby for whatever reason, even though Trimby's still one of the best supports in the LEC. Who knows exactly why? Maybe it was, some internal conflicts with the team, or just they felt like they needed to go in a different direction. It wasn't up to Trimby whether he could stay or not. So Trimby, they weren't like, hey, do you want to stay? It's like, hey, we're going to look for other options. You can look for other options. We're probably going in a new direction in the summer split. However, he could decide on which team he could go to, which could partly influence which support they would get for the team. His options were Fnatic in the LEC and NRG in the LCS. So that's actually very, very interesting to hear that likely NRG was interested in Trimby and that Trimby was actually interested in an LCS team as well. And not only was he interested in going to the LCS, it seems like just NRG specifically. So that might be big news to a lot of people out there. That's kind of cool to see. You know, the CLG/NRG roster getting some love. I don't know why exactly. That's where he would have wanted to go, but apparently this was an option or something he was considering. But obviously he ends up going to Fnatic in the LEC, which is a very, very big pickup for Fnatic. Getting a support of his caliber, especially after having Hillsang for so long, losing him, and then not really finding a great answer at support since then. Then he goes on to say that support Zolis, that's how you say it, I don't know, Zoelis, who won the LFL Spring Trophy with LDLC in his rookie split, was a priority for Koi. However, no deal could be reached due to his buyout price, which also some people are saying has been pretty interesting, because LDLC, I think, recently announced they're going to be getting out of esports. So they had a player that teams were interested in, and they weren't able to reach a buyout. They weren't able to reach a sale agreement because their buyout was too high, and now they're getting out of esports altogether. It seems like, why would you not try and sell for any price to get some money back if you're going to be leaving anyway? And then some people are saying, hey, Fnatic might just end up getting this guy for free after the split going into next year if Trimby doesn't work out or whatever. Or somebody's going to probably end up getting him for free or a lot cheaper than they could have got just now. So that's definitely going to be something interesting to keep an eye on. Zolis maybe making his way into the LEC next year, especially now that the buyout shouldn't necessarily be a big hurdle. But before landing Advi, and Koi looked over Rekkles too. So he is saying that, yes, Koi was actually considering Rekkles, which could have been very, very interesting. Rekkles almost had, because Rekkles was struggling to make it back to the LEC as an AD carry for so long, and now after one split back to an AD carry, role swap into support, if he would have been able to make it right back to the LEC as support right away, that would have been a little bit crazy, especially because at that time, he would have only been playing support for like a month or like maybe 2 months at the most, something like that, and that would have been a big risk for Koi to replace somebody to the caliber of Trimby, especially, Trimby, even though maybe a little bit inconsistent, maybe not in his peak form recently, still with the very, very high ceiling of Trimby, to replace him with Rekkles, which is just a huge unknown, a very, very big question mark. I'm sure wouldn't have gone over very well with a lot of fans. It would have at least left a lot of people scratching their heads. Even, that doesn't mean it necessarily couldn't have worked out, but it would have been kind of a weird move overall. However, here's the big news. Rekkles declined the possibility to join Koi as he decided to take a split off. I thought some of the Reddit comments were funny as well. He's saying, I'm guessing Rekkles spoke to people and was like, fuck that. I'm assuming talking about Koi, and their whole management situation and team environment and all that stuff, which again, some of their people they got over there, kind of weird, kind of shady, kind of bad vibes, whatever, who knows. But they say, hey, that's probably not necessarily the case. This guy says on stream he was saying how he actually wanted to take a split off regardless, so he could actually learn support rather than join a team, suck at it, and look stupid. Now, this is very, very interesting, because when we recently saw Sven role swap to support, I believe he just did it in between splits like that, and, didn't take a split off to actually learn and just kind of hopped into it. He ended up winning a title. He ended up being very, very successful. He's been a good support to this day. Rekkles going the other approach. He's going to take a split off. He's going to try and learn, trying to get ready for next year. Again, the offseason between before the start of spring is always a lot better. You always have a lot more options than just between spring and summer ending up in a bad position and maybe, making a bad name for yourself as support. But obviously it is a little bit risky if you had a team that was actually interested in you and you're turning down offers. We'll have to see if that risk pays off for Rekkles. I don't know. But the latest is that Rekkles appears like he's going to be taking a split off and then trying to make it back in the LEC next year as a support. But it seems like Koi actually was interested. But Rekkles, and that doesn't mean they're necessarily going to sign Rekkles. It just means, hey, they're maybe going to consider it, talk, or whatever. Rekkles says no thanks. He's taking a split off. We'll have to see how that goes. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully I catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.